Okay, y'all, so I am back with another video, and I know this is like the longest I've taken to upload another video, but that's because this video is probably one of the hardest videos that I'm going to record, because it's one of the most serious, difficult conversations to have. Like I said, this is my story, and if I'm going to tell my story, I'm going to tell my whole story and my true story. So this conversation is hard because I'm going to be bold enough to say, in the black community, talking about what I'm getting ready to talk about is almost taboo. And I say that because we hold our black mothers to a very high standard. And this is just my, let me just make this all personal. This is just from my personal experience when it comes to my family and how we do things. We uphold the black mother with a very, very powerful and unfailing position. And when I say that, I mean that it's almost like they can't do any wrong. You know what I'm saying? We glorify every single thing that they do, and to speak out against what's wrong and to say that they are wrong is almost taboo, because it's like, how dare you be disrespectful? How dare you talk down on your mother? You know, you always have the utmost honorable things to say and do when it comes to your mother. And I stand in a position where I challenge that on a regular, everyday basis. And I want to talk to you guys about why I challenge that on an everyday basis, because this has been a struggle of mine ever since I could remember. You know, I'm all about loving and being good and being positive, but this particular topic and this particular person, which is my mother, has been extremely difficult. I'm trying to articulate this and navigate through this conversation, because this is layers and layers and layers and layers of material, layers and layers and layers of situation and experiences that I don't want to go all the way back in time, you know, to give you guys clarity of what I'm talking about, but I want to say enough where you get it. And basically what I'm trying to say is that I am unmasking and unveiling the emotional abuse that some of us go through, because we are afraid to challenge our mothers. We are afraid to, and I won't just put it up to on our mothers. We're afraid to challenge our authority when it comes to being loyal and being respectful. It's like this thin line of being disloyal and being disrespectful, but also protecting ourselves in the process. So really, I'm coming from a recent event that has happened between me and my mother. And as long as I can remember, like I said, me and my mother have always had this very strenuous relationship where if there was good times, it was very small and minimum. The memories that I have of my mother are very painful. They're very sad, and they're very destructive. And I like to categorize it into what one would call emotional abusive relationship. Like, we learn all the time the signs when you're looking for a man, or when you in friendships or whatever. These people look for this, you know, this is what it means when, you know, they say things like this, that's abuse. And when they do things like this is abuse. And obviously when they put their hands on you, that is abuse. You know, but abuse can come from anybody. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm 28 years old and I'm in this position right now, I'm like, I really believe that the relationship that I have with my mom is emotionally abusive. And the reason I'm putting this out there is because I feel like somebody desperately needs to hear this, because this has been the most pivotal point in my life. Seeing how I have a 2-year-old daughter, and my goal is to be the best mother and be the best example of a person to her as need be, because if I don't show her, who's going to show her? She has to look at me and say, you know, I learned this from my mother, or my mother gave me the courage or the wisdom to, you know, do X, Y, and Z. I don't know. This is such a hard topic. This is such a very hard thing to talk about, because it's so many layers to it. It's so thick. It's so thick. It goes back before, it goes even beyond my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let me start here. And once again, this is hard because, you know, everybody can see that this is a public discussion, but I'm doing this because I feel like these are the seeds that we plant in our young generation. And we always look up and say, well, what's wrong with them, and why they act like this, and what's going on? It's because there has been very bad seeds planted and negative seeds planted, and it starts at home. You know what I'm saying? People are not born bad. People are not born a certain way. It's learned through our environment. It's learned through our parents, our grandparents, and, you know, the people we surround ourselves with on a regular basis. So I'm going to be so crazily, this is not even a word, I'm going to be so bold right now and just put out there the situation that I was raised in. And I know that I talk very highly of my grandparents because I'm the person that looks at the bigger picture. But at the end of the day, nobody's situation is perfect. Nobody is perfect, you know. And I'm not taking away any credit that I've given. I'm just putting this out there because it's important. It's an important part of my message. You know what I'm saying? So here's the environment I grew up in. I was raised in an environment where the child has no voice at all. You obey or you pay. You know what I'm saying? Like, either you do what I say or there's gonna be consequences. Even if me as a person felt like it was wrong. And I say that because I was a child that was very, very obedient. I never went against my grandmother or my grandfather or my mother or my father. I never ever, as a child, I never ever questioned anything, and I never spoke out because I was afraid. Like, you know, I was afraid of authority. You know what I'm saying? I guess one can say I was extremely afraid of authority, so I never spoke out. But seeing how that was the role that I played, there was always things that I questioned, always things that I didn't understand, like comments that were made, and, you know, and I'm talking about just me personally. Like, some of the biggest issues were some of the comments that were made that I was always constantly reminded of was my weight. And this started as early as age 12. Always being picked on about my weight. Always told I was too fat, and, you know, I'm never gonna get a man if I don't lose weight, and I need to make sure I stay physical and get into sports because the last thing I want to do is be fat, and I'm right next to fat, and when I grow up I'm gonna be big as a house, and nobody's gonna want to be with me, and I bet not have children because my stomach is gonna hang down to my knees. These comments started as early as age 12. Early as age 12. And when you're that young, you know, and you see these people are, you know, there to protect you, you listen like, oh damn, like, oh my God, how horrible. I can't be fat. Nobody's gonna want me if I'm fat, or I can't be beautiful if I'm heavyweight. And the sad thing about it is, I wasn't even fat. I wasn't even fat. Like, I I want to say the biggest I've ever been in my life was when I graduated from college, and that's because I was in severe depression. But at 12 years old, y'all, I was not a big girl, but I was constantly reminded that I could be a big girl. Don't you be big. Nothing mattered but my weight. Nothing mattered but my image. And so at a certain phase of my life, I began to get extremely angry with my mother because she okayed a lot of these things that were said. And it was her and my grandmother that would say these things to me. And I would say, well, you know, my grandmother is old school, so that's why she, you know, that's why she says things like that, because maybe she felt like she had to be really skinny and keep her outer image up to feel like a man would want her. So maybe that's why she does that. But what is my mom's excuse? Why does my mom let my grandmother continually tear me down and then co-sign with her? So at a very early age, I started to kind of pull myself back from my mother because I felt like she was there. She was supposed to protect me and she didn't. And a lot of the time she would co-sign. And I'm like, you know, I don't really know what that's about, but what can I do? You know, I'm 12, 13, 14 years old. What can I possibly do about that other than obsess about my weight? Now I don't have any choice but to feel like I have to be skinny. Nothing else matters, but I have to be skinny because that's all that matters. That's all they talk about. That's all they focus on. So that's all I'm going to worry about is being skinny. That is the key to life. Be skinny. So, I want to say around the age 16, when I started like, no, it wasn't even 16. It was probably like 18 years old. And I started driving and I started dating, and, you know, it was this issue of where am I at? You know, what am I doing? I couldn't leave the house without my grandmother calling me 100 million times, and I wouldn't even be doing anything. I would be hanging out with my friends, and I would just be, you know, being young. I wasn't having sex. I wasn't doing anything because I was too afraid to even think about doing stuff like that. So, you know, my phone would ring off the hook, and my mom, if I didn't answer my grandmother, my mother would call me, and she'd be going off on me, not even knowing what the situation is. She will be going off on me about absolutely nothing. Like, it was not even a big deal, but to them, because I wouldn't answer my phone, mind you, they knew where I was at and they knew who I was with. It was never an issue, but the fact that I wasn't with them, the fact that I wasn't in their presence, they were gonna ruin my time being with whoever else I was being with. I will never forget, there was a situation where one of my high school friends had passed away, and I was at his funeral, and I told my grandmother that I was going to his funeral. I was dressed up, ready for a funeral, going to a funeral, and my grandmother called my phone at least 30 times while I was in the funeral, and I couldn't answer the phone because I was at a funeral. So when I finally get out the funeral, I'm like, Grandma, you know I'm at a funeral, what's going on? And she's like, well, you don't love me, why would you choose your friend over me? I needed to talk to you about something, and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, well, what is it? You know, now that I can talk to you, what is it? She's like, nothing, don't worry about it now, because obviously I wasn't important enough for you to answer the phone the first time I called. But she never told me what she needed. It's just the controlling. It was such a controlling environment. And my mother would co-sign everything my grandmother did to me. She never wanted to hear my side of the story. She never wanted to defend me. And a part of me felt like she was intimidated by my grandmother as well. She was afraid of my grandmother, so she never said anything. So the biggest event that happened, because I can't go into everything that happened, but the biggest event that happened was, I was in college, and I want to say I was about a sophomore. Yeah, I was a sophomore in college, so I was like 21 years old, 21, 22, something like that. And I went out with one of my friends from school, which was a guy, and we were just going out to like a lounge to like have a drink. We were home on summer vacation, whatever, and we were just going out to have a drink. My grandmother, once again, she knew where I was going. It was, mind you, it was 9 o'clock at night. 9 o'clock at night. It might have been 8 o'clock at night. It was early. And my grandmother was calling me. And I wouldn't answer because I'm like, she's trying to make me feel bad for going out because I'm not at home with her right now. That was a big thing for my grandmother. If I wasn't with her, she had to call me. She had to make me feel bad for wanting to hang out with my friends or wanting to get out the house. And so when I didn't answer, of course my mom called me. And my friend was like, why don't you just answer the phone? And I'm like, bruh, you don't understand. I can't answer the phone because they're trying to ruin my night. Because she knows where I'm at. She knows who I'm with. She knows there's nothing. Like, at this point, I was 21 years old. And this had been happening for a couple of years now. So I knew the game. I knew that they didn't want anything. So I'm like, okay, look, check this out. I'll answer the phone just so you can hear through speakerphone how they talk to me and how this is happening, why I didn't want to answer the phone. And he like, man, what? That's your mom and your grandma. It couldn't be that bad. It's not that serious. And I'm like, okay. So I answer the phone. My mom, where are you at? What are you doing? Out there being a little hoe. You little hoe. You ain't nothing but a hoe. And he was like, what? He's like, why is she saying that? And I'm like, this is how my mom talks to me. This is what she does. I don't know what my grandmother says to her, but she goes completely off. She called me so many hoes, called me a bitch. And I'm just putting this all the way out here because this is real. This is a serious issue that a lot of people go through because they don't know how to say enough is enough. That is emotional abuse at its fullest. That is emotional abuse at its fullest. And I have to say these things so you can get where I'm coming from. You know, and a part of me, not only for the little girl before maybe my mother to hear the things that she said to me. So maybe my position that I play now, which I will tell you guys soon, will sink into her. The number of hoes, the number of bitches I've been called. And then to top it off, you so dumb. Somebody gonna kidnap you, chop your head off and put it in the trunk. Like, these things, these words are something that you never forget. Because they're coming from a mother that is supposed to be protective. That's supposed to encourage you and uplift you. But yet, I'm constantly slandered over my weight. I'm constantly slandered over wanting to hang out with my friends and be young. Being called hoes and bitches and told my head is going to be cut off and put in a trunk. This is emotional abuse. Nobody at a young age, nobody ever should have to deal with those type of comments coming from someone that should be protecting them. And this is the environment that I was constantly around. So for me, college was an outlet. I distanced myself extremely. It was to a point where I didn't even come home anymore because it was no love to me. It was no support. There was no, what am I trying to say? There was no positive energy, really. It was a lot of drama and a lot of negativity, and I just didn't want to be around it. So fast forward to all of that. That's just a small snippet of what I went through at an early age, going into my early adult years age. So as you guys know, I have a 2-year-old daughter. I had her at 26. I didn't have a good relationship with my mother or my grandmother during that time because I had put them in a place that I told you guys, that place where I put people where they can't bother me. I love them and I care about them, but I just can't allow them in my space because for some reason they just want to attack me on a regular basis. So when I got pregnant, I obviously thought a lot about what it's like to be a mom. Like, you know, what does this mean now? How do I, you know, do the best that I can at this? Because I would hate for my daughter to feel about me the way that I feel about my mother. I don't want to raise her in an environment where she feels like being pretty and feeling beautiful is practically impossible. I don't want her to feel like having a mind of her own is shameful. I don't want her to feel like telling me that she disagrees with me is disrespectful. I want that openness. I want that space where my daughter can trust me and believe that I have her back 100,000%. So a part of me is like, you know, maybe I should give this relationship with my mother another chance. Maybe I should be more understanding. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how it feels. I don't know. Even though I know those things that were said were so wrong and they were so hurtful, but maybe I don't know her pain. Maybe I don't know what she's been through. Maybe why she's lashing out on me. Lashing out at me. I just don't know. So I don't want to give birth to this beautiful baby girl and have these negative seeds and these bitter seeds planted, because I don't want to pass that on to her even in my womb. So let me fix this now. Let me open up this door again. Let me show my mother that forgiveness is something that I can do so we can grow again, because my daughter, she needs to see that. She needs to see what that's like. She needs to know what healthy relationships like and what it takes, you know. So I did that. And I remember a conversation where my mom called me. She was screaming and crying to the top of her lungs, telling me that I was going to keep my daughter away from her and I was going to let her be a grandmother. And I just remember, like, she was so upset, and I felt so bad because she didn't even know. She didn't even know me. She didn't even give me a chance to tell her what was going on with me. It was instant accusal again. It was instant, let me scream at you and yell at you to the top of my lungs so I can tell you how much you've pissed me off from just being my daughter. You know, and you know, before she can even hear my side of the story or my reasoning or how I've, you know, changed my mindset, honestly, because of my daughter, I couldn't get a word in edgewise. But I was like, Mom, it's so sad that you don't even know me, because I would never keep my daughter away from you. I would never try to hurt you with vengeance of you can't be a part of our lives because you know you made mistakes in the past. Because what if one day I make a mistake? What if one day I need my baby to forgive me? I'm willing to do that, because everybody needs forgiveness. Everybody needs to be able to grow. You know what I'm saying? So why I wouldn't hold you hostage of that, because now I need that same opportunity and that same chance with my daughter. I'm not going to be a perfect mom. I'm going to try my best to be as good as her as I know how, but I know I'm going to fall short. I know I'm not going to get it right every time. So I'm willing to accept everything that has happened to me up until this point and give this a second chance. And that's just what I did. I let my mom could see my daughter all the time. Basically, we were starting over. I would call her every now and then. Maybe not as much as she wanted me to, but I called her more often. I walked with her. I took the baby over there. She would come see us every now and then. You know, that my daughter would spend a night with her, and my daughter knows her. My daughter knows who her grandmother is, because I promised that was the that's how I was going to go about things. Because I feel like if you have a heart of vengeance, if you have a heart of bitterness, you set yourself up to just get those things all the time, even in situations that don't have nothing to do with nothing. So I don't believe in watering those bad seeds. So fast forward to my position now. I've chosen to let it go. I chose that because I feel like no matter what I do, it's never good enough. I feel like I'm constantly blamed for something that I didn't have any part in. The comments now have turned into, you're a demon. You've turned out to be terrible. I'm so sad. I'm sorry you turned out this way, and you're so disrespectful. You're a mean person, and you know, just a lot of, those are the comments that I'm getting now. And on top of that, I'm getting, you don't forgive me. You just want me to pay for everything that I ever done wrong to you, and I don't know why you want to do that to me. And so now I have to deal with the fact that she can't believe that I forgive her. So I'm attacked on a different level now. And let me go into where that came from. So the other day, I was at my mom's house, and my daughter had spilled a box of toys over in the floor, because that's what she always does. And I was waiting on my fiance to come pick us up. So my mother was on her way to the kitchen, and she stepped over the box of toys and was like, Crystal, you need to pick those up. And I was like, whoa, girl, you know that was lazy. You stepped over the box of toys to tell me to pick them up. Girl, that was so lazy. As I said that, she was like, I don't even remember what she said specifically, but it rubbed her the wrong way. And I got up and picked up the toys. And she kept going on and on and on about it. Like, for some reason, that lazy word just struck a nerve with her. She didn't like me calling her lazy. So, I was like, Ma, it's not that big of a deal. That was lazy. Like, you stepped over the toys to tell me to pick them up. I thought that was kind of lazy. I would have said that to anybody. And she was like, well, you don't talk to people like that. You don't talk to me like that, or something like that. And I was like, Ma, that's how I am. Like, it's not even a big deal. Like, I talk to everybody. Like, I was like, I used to talk to Grandma like that. I mean, you know, me and Grandma, we used to have our little spats or whatever. You know, when we were in a light environment, we definitely had our falling outs. But that to me was a light environment. We had just came back from a walk. I thought we were in a light space, good space, so it didn't ring to be offensive to me. And so when I said, you know, I used to talk to Grandma like that, it's not no big deal, like, I don't mean anything by it. She said, well, that's you the reason she died unhappy. And at first I'm like, you know what, I'm used to these assaults, I'm used to these attacks, like, I'm just gonna keep going with it and try to make it light. And I'm like, girl, why are you mad because I said you are lazy? That was lazy, you know. And we kind of just going on and on, but I didn't really dig into the fact that she told me I was the reason my grandmother died unhappy. So when I was walking out the door, she was like, bye petty, you know, she's calling me petty, and I'm like, bye lazy, and just kind of going on about my business. And that was that, because I'm like, if I keep going with this, I'm not gonna get anywhere, because I know what that's like. So I get a text message when I get home about how I'm not a nice person, I'm very mean, I'm very disrespectful, I turned out to be a terrible person, and all of these things. And you know, because I called her lazy, and I said, you know what, Ma, you right, I probably shouldn't have called you lazy out of all people. Like, that wasn't a good choice of words, seeing how sensitive you are. Like, it's not a big deal. I was like, I would have said that to anybody. I don't find that word to be disrespectful. And so so that's where the rant came on about me being a demon, about me turning out to be a bad daughter, basically. Like, you turned out to be bad, you turned out to be a bad person, and I'm so sorry you turned out this way. And you know, it was just sad to see these comments still happening after this many years of neglect and emotional abuse. And after this last incident between me and my mother, I have, and this has been a prayer that I've prayed for a very long time, because me and my mother's relationship has always been strenuous. It has never been what one would say in a good place. Like I said, she was always absent, but she showed up when it was time to put me in my place and to put me in check. And it just seemed difficult to get that love and support from her. Always. It always seemed extremely difficult, and I just never could understand why. And honestly, I thought that this time around would be different, because I'm older now. I have a daughter of my own, and I just thought the energy would be a lot different, because it's like, you know, the mutual respect of just trying to be friends and trying to understand one another will be there, because she missed out on so much of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, she honestly doesn't know who I am. And I can say I honestly don't know who she is, but what she shows me is this harsh person that can't find, I don't know, she's just like a she has many layers to her. She has many layers to her, and she seems to be really rough around the edges. But I was saying that this has been an extremely difficult journey for me when it comes to my mom, not knowing when enough is enough, because there's always this thing, you honor your parents, you honor your parents, you honor your parents, or else, or God is gonna punish you for that, because, you know, if you don't honor your parents, this and that is gonna happen. And I do believe in the Bible, and I do believe that honoring your parents are key, but I also believe that honoring your parents does not mean you have to subject yourself to emotional abuse and negativity 24/7. God intended us to live in peace and to be happy. And if somebody is threatening your peace and your happiness, you do not have to subject yourself to that. And that's what this video was all about. For many years, I allowed those comments to stick to me like glue. I watered so many of those seeds, so many of those comments. I watered them so many times because it's all I heard. It's all I heard. I very rarely heard, "Congratulations, I'm proud of you." So I don't need that validation anymore. I don't need other people to view me as a successful person, because I am so in tune with God and what my purpose is on this earth, which is why I'm making this video. I don't need that anymore. And for so long, being a little girl without it, I even searched for it in my adult years, you know. And God has put me in a position where I'm okay with that chapter of my book being over. And it's been a very long uphill battle. And at some point, you have to say, that's enough. Even if it's your mother, even if it's your grandmother, even if it's your aunt, whoever. And I'm not saying it is those people. What I'm saying is, whoever it is that is constantly beating you over the head with negative comments, trying to make you feel like a bad person, you do not have to deal with that. You do not have to subject yourself to that on a regular basis. My first outlet was college. You know, I pushed a lot of things to the side. I didn't deal with a lot of it because I had all these other things going on and everything else distracted me. And then when I had my daughter, everything came to front and center, and I had to deal with a lot of that stuff. So now it's just okay, you know, like it's just okay. And I'm not saying this is gonna be a forever thing. I don't know what necessarily happens next, but what I do know is that I will no longer allow those negative seeds to be planted in my garden. They're not welcome here. And if someone is not in my life to help me grow, to love on me, and to bring me up, they are not wanted. And even if they are in a higher position, like a mother or a grandmother, or even though my grandmother has passed away, but I'm just saying, it doesn't matter to me who anybody is at this point in my life. If you are not in my corner to uplift me and to love on me and to support me, then I'm okay with you leaving. I'm okay with that door being closed because I have no more room for that. I have a daughter that I need to pour constant love into, that I need to pour constant support into. So I can't let other people drain me of that. You can't take my energy anymore. And I am standing up for every person around the world that feels like abuse is okay. It is never okay. It doesn't matter who it's coming from. And you know, it's always like, well, you know, a lot of things that brought this all into, you know, into order for me. Like, this is an emotionally abusive relationship. It's like when you hear that person say, well, he only do it when he mad, or she only do it when she mad. Because that's right. My mom, when she's not mad, she's cool. She's okay to be around. I can hang out with her. But when she's mad, and when you say something she don't like, she ready to bring out that shotgun and blow you away. And that is not okay. You cannot treat people like that. You cannot say you love somebody, punch them in the face and pick them back up, so when they get ready to say something again you don't like, you ready to punch them again. No, that is abuse in every way, shape, or form. And I am here to dead that. I don't want anything to do with that. And I am standing firm in my belief that I don't have to subject myself to that. And for anybody else going through that, if you have somebody, a parent, a loved one, somebody that tells you they love you, but they're constantly bringing you pain and negative energy, you do not have to deal with that. And this video is so bold because we are the dear mamas, you know. Black people are the dear mamas. You always talking about the big mamas and the soul food and the good times and mama this and mama that. And I'm here to say that it is not always that way. A lot of times people are hiding secrets. They're hiding skeletons. They're hiding in the darkness. And I am here to pluck that whole tree. It is not growing in my garden. And my daughter will not reap the fruits of that tree. It is over. And I encourage anybody right now that is in that struggle, that is trying to find that peace because they have somebody that loves them, constantly bringing them down. I pray that you find the courage to say that is enough. And if the person that you're dealing with don't want to respect that, you have to let it go. Because I'm telling you, I manifested so much of that negativity from a young girl that is unbelievable. This video was just on my heart and on my mind, and I wanted to get it out there because I know a part of me feel like if my mother had someone like me tell her that you can say that's enough, she would have listened. But I think things had got so far gone and she was so afraid and so intimidated. And I am saying this is a cycle of abuse. I am saying that. And I am saying that I am that person that is breaking that chain. I'm not here for it. And I never will be. And I know that God is not going to punish me for having the courage to say that I'm not here for it. So whoever this video is for, I pray that it finds you and it gives you the strength to walk away. And I'm not just speaking for mothers. I'm not just speaking for grandmothers or whoever. Anybody in your life that is not filling you up with good vibes, positive comments, and positive energy, and it's not planting good seeds in your life, it's okay to let that go. I'm so okay with letting that go. And I know that God will bless me for having the courage to do this, because this is my story and I am willing to put all of it out there because I went through so many things for a reason. You know what I'm saying? I didn't just go through that stuff to be like, God, why me? Why me? Why did you choose me? What did I do? What did I do wrong? It's not about me. This thing is so much bigger than me. God has put this courage in my voice in my life for a reason. I have something to say for somebody else, because these things are things that I have gotten through, and I'm okay. and I'm going to be okay, and I strongly believe that. So this is for you. For you. This is for whoever you are. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to let it go. And it's okay to still love. It's okay to still pray. It's okay. This video was extremely difficult to make because this has literally been a battle of mine for as long as I could remember. So I hope it's not too long. I hope that this video was taken in a sincere way, because in no way, shape, or form am I trying to decrown my mother or my grandmother, because I believe that there's beauty in this whole situation. There's beauty in this, but if I don't take a moment to unveil and unmask the darkness, nobody will. Who's going to stand up for me? Who's going to stand up for people that know it's wrong but won't say it's wrong? I'm here to say it's wrong. And that's it. That's it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and thank you for listening, and just thank you. So thank you. Project Bring the Love Back is still in full effect. I'm working on it now, so look forward to a video coming very soon to you guys. So anyway, peace out.
Right back at ya.